Awesome, Abhishek. How are you? Again, very nice hopping on our AI fireside chat. What are we talking about today?
First of all, it's the first video of this year, I think. First one being recorded
Yes.
this year. So
So happy New Year to you and happy New Year to our audiences.
yeah, that's a big thing. For the new year, what I wanted to talk about was plugins, something Claude
We can
plugins.
actually sure,
Uh-huh.
and we can actually say we have been recording videos since last year.
Yes, we can now say that we
So
have
that, yeah,
recorded AI videos for a year.
for a year, yeah,
Yep.
since last year. But yeah, sorry, go ahead. You're saying you're going to talk about plugins today?
Yeah, Claude plugins. We talked about it briefly in a past video, but now I've really started using them on my day-to-day, and I'm really loving how they are simplifying things. So I thought maybe today we could discuss that and maybe do a quick demo of one of those plugins later on as well.
Great. I think great idea. I have been using a few plugins as well, and I'm really loving working with them. And kudos to all the people who have been putting time in creating those
Yeah,
plugins. Do you want to tell the people watching the video what plugins mean,
yeah,
at least in the world of Claude? Yeah.
yep. So how I understand plugins, it's basically a way to package different elements of Claude, right? So it can include your command, it can include your scripts, it can include your configurations, skills, even things like a MCP config, LSP config, all of that can be now packaged in to a single entity and can be shipped out to either teams, individuals. It's a really nice way to package everything and use them everywhere.
Right. So I think a good way of saying it would be that if you find a repetitive pattern of doing two, three things together, you can package it as one thing and create a plugin and publish it. I kind of see you could create maybe a plugin for, let's say, a very simple plugin could be commit, push, create a PR, three things together or something like that, right?
Yep,
But most of
yep.
them can actually happen through a command as well. You don't necessarily need. So what you're saying is commands and prompts and other multiple prompts. So you could do multiple things together using a
Yeah,
plugin.
all of that
Makes sense. Makes sense.
combined
Yeah.
together. What I was thinking is maybe we can talk briefly about the official Claude docs and how we can set up and use plugins, and then maybe we can
Hmm.
do a quick review of one of them.
Sure. Let's go ahead.
Yeah, all right. Let me take us to the official doc for Claude Code. So these are the official docs, and here Claude or the Anthropic team talks about how you can install plugins. One thing to note is plugins are part of marketplaces. Think of these as repositories that have multiple plugins. So the first thing you need to do is add a marketplace. By default, you have this official Claude marketplace already added. So this is the GitHub repo for it. And once you have it, you can just go to your Claude and if you type slash plugin, you will see this view, and then from here you can search and install whatever plugins, browse your installed ones, and then
And
also
how
you
do you
can
add the marketplace, Abhishek?
you can actually look at this command. So they have added it in the box. Let me, yeah. So you can just run this plugin marketplace
Okay.
add, and then this just needs to
I
be
think this
the
marketplace
part.
is
Yeah, this is just a demo
sorry, go
one.
ahead. Yeah. And there, I think their own marketplace is there in the list. You just have to select it, right? I think the
Yeah.
Claude
That
marketplace by
one, yeah.
default.
This one will be in by default, Claude plugins official.
Right.
And it's actually
Yes.
very easy to publish our own as well, and they have added it in the docs. So if anyone is
Okay.
interested, they can take a look.
Makes
But
sense.
yeah,
And I think
one
just a
of
little
the
bit of
yeah, go ahead.
a nitpick on this one. When you run the plugins command for install, instead of here, they have not done enter or space. You actually have to hit I. This is that a small nitpick. Very first time when I tried it, I would hit enter or space, and it would not select it. You will get out and think that the plugin is installed, but you have to remember to press I to actually install the plugin.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I
go ahead.
think they might have tweaked that recently. I was able to like just open this, hit enter here, and it worked.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, they probably
Interesting.
changed it
Maybe they did.
recently.
Maybe they
But
did.
yeah, one of the plugins that we can quickly talk about, and everyone can see that This is the whole plugin. There's nothing else to it. There's the feature dev plugin, something that ships a command for feature dev, and it ships a bunch of agents alongside it,
Mhm.
right? And you can see that I have that in my list over here, or I think I have already installed it. Yeah, feature dev. So I've
Mhm.
already installed it, and it's the same thing. It basically clones it to your local and it makes
Mhm.
them available. So now if I wanted to, I could do like a feature dev and I can execute the command, or if I wanted to run any of the agents from that, I could ask it feature dev, code reviewer, or code architect, and I can just execute it. So
So
yeah, a
what
very
this means
nice way to
is,
package.
but even when you are doing it, when you just run, so I'm assuming you can do slash feature dev. Can we try using
Yeah.
it? So maybe you can go slash feature dev
Mm-hmm.
and you can hit tab and you can actually create a feature. I want to create a to-do list sort of.
Yeah.
You can create a
Yep.
description.
Yep.
And the assumption is that when it is doing it, it has multiple agents, one looking into architecture, other looking into just coding, third looking into implementation or something like that. Is it?
Yep, we can very quickly actually just open the command and it gives like all of the phases. It will do
Oh,
discovery, code base. So it just works together with its agents and builds it out basically. And then, if you wanted to create your custom version of it, you could even do that thanks to how easy it is to create our own plugins now.
very interesting.
But yeah, some other handy plugins that I really like. One thing that I'll highly recommend anyone who's using some of the popular MCPs is just move all of them as plugins now. You don't no longer need to maintain tokens locally, no longer need to worry about configurations, none of that. It's easy
Yeah,
way.
and changing those JSON files and all was also a
Yeah,
little tougher.
I always
But
used to mess it.
exactly, right? Exactly, yeah. So now instead of adding a MCP, you can put a MCP as a plugin, is it?
So, if we very
Okay.
quickly go to this external plugins folder, right? And for
Hmm.
example, I wanted to see, let's say, the context 7 plugin, right? You can see that it's just a .mcp JSON. They have
Okay.
defined the whole MCP config, and then they have said that, hey, this is a plugin description, and that's about it. You got
Oh,
the plugin config, the MCP right away. You can see context
okay.
7. I have it here. I don't have the config locally. I no longer run this on my Docker or anything. It's just a straightforward config now.
Very interesting. So what we are seeing is that a typical plugin can be, of course, a prompt, huge prompt. The prompt can have command line, so your shell commands. It can also have MCP files. So when
Yep.
you're, I mean, MCP JSON configuration. So when you are actually installing a plugin, you can have any one of these or multiple. So a package of
Yes.
few of these things.
Yes.
And when I run it, now it's going to, you have almost said that your prompt may actually say go phase wise or search something first, then do something. And then I think this makes, now that I think about it, almost all my feature development first starts with a Google search. And then I said, because lately I've been working a lot on AI and the world of AI is also changing very fast. So I said deep research on real-time agents or deep research on live agents. So it'll go and do Gemini, like search on Gemini
Yep.
Live and read the docs and all. So I can already almost see that we can do a warm up plugin. So you warm it up with all the idea and also like a code analysis. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Mm.
Makes
And yeah,
sense.
on top of all of those things, maybe something we can talk about in future. They have also added LSP support right into plugins, and they have also added support for hooks. The famous
Mm.
Ralph plugin is a hook basically that pairs it with a command, and
Ralph Wiggum is it?
I know that
Awesome.
you have
I
been
think what
experiment.
I have been as well, and I want to talk about like this one plugin that I really liked lately. So what I've done is I've just very recently created a PR. Let's see if I can actually run it, and that is code review plugin.
Mhm.
What it does is it'll go and it'll see if there is a PR on this branch or not. So if this branch
Okay.
has a PR with the main branch, it will go ahead and start a code review. So first it checks for the eligibility, but I wanted to really highlight this second step. Eligibility is that there should be a PR that is not already closed or already reviewed, right? So it'll go ahead and hopefully look into it right now.
Automatically
And then
setting up. tasks.
Exactly. And it does like parallel code review agents.
Yeah,
So what
5 agents.
5 agents, yeah. And what I really like about this one is that your Claude MD, so how they have taken this, right? You can actually keep making sure that your Claude MD file has everything that you care about. So if let's
Hmm.
say it could be clean coding principle or certain architecture that you prefer, right? Or just making sure that, let's say your backend file does not have any UI information, let's say, right? So you're not writing UI in the backend. The idea is now that you have that in your Claude MD, every pull request would actually read your Claude file
Know
first,
it.
and based on that, it will do a code review, which is
Hmm.
quite important. What you're now doing is you're almost whatever your philosophy of software development is, first of all, through the Claude file, you are also distributing it to the entire organization. So your entire organization now knows that what is important. But when entire
Yeah.
organization does code review, now you have a guiding principle or guidelines for your code reviewer that see all these different things. So it's gonna go and check about everything, including the comments, because I actually do not write a lot of comments. So it's now gonna go and check those things as well. And let me see run file. When we'll do this, you'll actually see one clean coding agent, one clean architecture agent running, and all these different agents will check it, which I think in a way blew me away that we can always make sure that we're constantly keeping our Claude.md file up to date. And once you have it up to date, it kind of makes sure that every code review and every sort of action that you're taking like this takes sort of that knowledge and applies it to your code.
Yeah, this will be a great alternative for people who can't really install the Claude GitHub app, let's say due to organization restrictions. I think for them, having access to Claude MD while their code is being reviewed, I think that will be
Yeah.
really, really handy.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And there's one of the, I think it's going to take a bit of time. So I had this one old PR that's open over here, but it goes ahead and sort of does your code review and adds comments right here. Here it has actually, it seems there was a prompt. So it has reviewed the prompt, but it will go ahead and create entire sort of, it'll go ahead and create, add comments, which then you can read. And if you want, you can go ahead and
Resolve.
start, yeah, resolve them. But that also reminds me. So other thing that I have started doing, which is a little bit sort of a different on a different topic. Something else that I have started doing is work via pull request. So you do this, and what I do is I create a spec, then create a pull request for that spec even before we get started. So if I'm developing a new
Okay.
feature, I'll do a pull request for the spec, and then on the spec I will write comments in the pull request. So it is very clear that I have these phases or this, I have other thoughts, and then tell my Claude to read the pull request and see what I want
And start
changed.
working.
So it's a very nice way of talking, sort of refining things. So we are constantly then resolving things as a brainstorming step, not to do code. This reminds me of a very recent post that I had read that, years back, there used to be developers who would actually open assembly code and edit
Yeah.
it, right? But ever since higher level programming languages like Ruby on Rails or Java or Python came, nobody actually goes and actually checks what's the compiled version. For Java, it could be class files. Nobody actually, barely someone opens a class file and tries
Yep.
to edit it, right? Or change it. Similarly, so this post said that earlier people barely, now just like a year back, people barely opened class files or assembly files. Now it seems people will barely open coding files. They will keep looking at the spec file. And I see already that it's changing my workflow because I'm literally, even my PRs are now on the spec file. So I do more PRs with my spec file and change it line by line and read it carefully than I'm doing it with my code. So I think it may change in future. Let's see how it goes. But again, now that we have moved away from plugins already, there's something else that I recently discovered. I don't know if you knew it or not. Did you know that there is a Claude AI code webpage as well?
Yeah, I read about it, but so far I haven't tried it myself.
And quite interesting. You can connect it with your. So, because of this, what has happened is a new way of working that I have found. Of course, this over here it's okay to have it on your web page. I haven't found a good way of using it really. What can I do over here? But
Hmm.
so I can connect, of course, my GitHub. But once I do it, our phone app. So on my iPhone, I have Claude app, and Claude
Right.
app has a code version. I don't know if you have seen that or not. So there's like a code on phone app as well. So you can click on it.
Hmm.
Your repository is connected, and you can say review my code
Oh,
or
just from
look at the space. Yeah. So
nice.
sometimes when I'm watching TV or when I'm just, not in front of my computer, the other tech debt related things, reviews and document, I just say it on my PR. I say, hey, I care about these things. Can you have a look at the, I care. One of the things that I have seen is dry, right? In order for you to to apply dry principle, you have to look at the whole code. You can't be
Yep.
working on one item because you don't know the duplication may be somewhere else. So that's one of the most common thing that I've had a long day. I did a lot of work. When you're just sitting, you can just from your phone. Whenever I remember, I may actually say, "Can you do a dry sort of a audit?" And it will do it, and it will put a spec file right in your branch and say, "Okay, here are the places you can change." So quite interesting. Now we can code from your phone without using your ID, which is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
It
Yeah.
seems like the perfect tool for maybe right now. I think anything low risk or the tech debt stuff, maybe down the line it will get like when AI gets so good that you don't really have to see the code. Maybe it could just be that, hey, I'm discussing something. I just put it in and I got the feature. So
Yeah.
that would be awesome to see. I think right
Yeah.
now still it could do for maybe most of the things, but yeah, I think there's some way to go.
The observation that I have made is that if your code is really decoupled, and if the underlying technology that you're, of course, our older technologies are sort of optimized for monoliths. So we have a lot of technologies that were originally making monolith applications. Of course, we had Java and Spring Boot that sort of adopted microservices architecture. So you can create decoupled components, but something that is native and something that is by default decoupled, it's working unbelievably well. So the example is Supabase. In Supabase, everything that you do is a edge function. And every time you do something small also, it's a small edge function, right? So you're creating
Right.
automatically from day one, you are creating like these small functions. So of course, this is your SRP principle, single responsibility on almost on cocaine. And you're creating this 20, 30,
Yeah.
40 microservices
Yeah.
and it works well.
It works
I have
great.
never had to, yeah, it works really well if you can take care of this one thing, which is you keep. So it's not like your older computer science knowledge does not help. Actually, it helps a lot. So if you think about it and if you're in your prompting, I actually specifically tell it to keep modules decoupled, smaller components, and it actually does quite an amazing job.
I'm really excited to see what the next chapter is, and maybe next time we can talk about LSPs and how they can play with code and how they can even tighten the loop further.
Let's do that. Let's waiting to create a new video. I have personally not used LSP servers. I looking forward to learn something a little bit from you on our next
Yeah,
call. Awesome.
awesome.